So on this video, I just wanted to go on a little bit of a rant, and all my audio recordings are non-scripted, so forgive me if I have pauses in between. So what I wanted to discuss today was a couple years back, I decided to try online dating. So I went with the typical ones, which was Tinder and Bumble. Now, the thing about those was that they have a very odd system, and it's a system that I don't necessarily like, which is you have to keep swiping every day. You have a certain amount of swipes that you can take every day on the people that you like. However, the only way you can successfully match with someone is that if you swipe on a respective person, they also have to respectively swipe right on you as well. And once that happens, then you can actually talk to each other, which I think is almost like playing the lottery. So I really didn't like that system, and the same goes for Bumble. Now, I decided to shop around for other dating apps, and I came across Hinge. It had a high rating on the App Store, had some good reviews, so I decided to check it out. And surprisingly, it had a good system for reaching out to people. You had 10 likes a day. You can like someone's picture or something they said, and you can also send a message caption with it. And that message they can also choose to respond. So that worked out pretty well. And I decided to relentlessly take advantage of it and use my 10 likes a day and stuff like that for about a week. Now, I started getting some feedback from women who were responding. But the problem was, and I began to see a consistent trend when I've spoken to, I got a match with at least 15 to 20 women, could be lower than that, um, from my time using it. But every single chat, they, all the women ended up ghosting. And now I started to reflect on myself, like, well, was I saying anything wrong, or looking at my messages? Because all the conversations we've had, because they were all brief, were all basic stuff. Like, what are some of your hobbies? Do you work? Do you study? Stuff like that, and we would have a good exchange back and forth. Now, I reflected on some of the messages and I looked at some of the things I said. I'm like, okay, everything I said was respectable. It was polite. We were talking about hobbies. I asked her, like, outside of that, what are some things that you also like to do? Now, that isn't a message where it's offensive or disrespectful, and you don't see any reason why someone would ghost based on that type of message or that course of conversation, but they did. And I can't remember, I think the longest conversation I had with one of the women on there, like, her profile just disappeared completely. No longer active. And reflecting on it, I'm thinking that the problem with Hinge is that, and this is all, assumptions, but I heavily suspect that Hinge itself puts its own agents on the site, catfishing people. And they catfish them into, I should say, either believing that the actual app is working for them and to give them false hope so that they could, I guess, pay for the upgraded version of the app where they can get unlimited likes. I guess your profile is more promoted, stuff like that. And I think that's a real, if my suspicions are true, I think that's a very despicable thing for, an app to do in a way. And I'm not talking about it just being, I guess, robotic spam that's um, sending you random messages. No, these are actual people catfishing the actual users on the site by responding with messages, and they would hold, I don't know, a brief conversation and then they completely ghost. So at the end of the day, it's nothing wrong with what you're doing. It's just basically these are people that are just catfishing you to keep using the site. So I'm not sure if anyone else out there has had that type of experience. I really don't like the fact I've completely deleted the app. My profile has been deactivated because I think it was a complete scam at the end of the day. I don't know how you guys have felt. If there are people out there who see this video and have encountered this problem, love to hear what some of your experiences are. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree? Uh, if you have some success stories of actually meeting people from Hinge and genuinely having conversations with them and they were actual people, I would also like to hear from you guys as well. But at the end of the day, yeah, I really don't have much hope in online dating. Like I said before, my issues with Tinder and Bumble, the whole match thing, and it tends to become very addicting after a while, so I definitely don't use that. But yeah, that's basically all I had to say. Um, and hopefully, some of you out there has had more success than myself. Oh, and lastly, if you all do know of other apps that are much more genuine, share it with everyone else. Let them know. And I think that's the best thing you could probably do at this stage.